Alas, the unraveling of human relations and the instability of rationale. Now, the driving force of imagination is belief, faith, and choice. Was it the Big Bang that blew all that is into perfect position from nothing at all? Or is there actually an infinite intelligence that created our observable experiences? The purpose of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast is to help you better understand your work environment as I break down my own experiences as mid-level management of road construction. Greetings, navigators, and welcome back to the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast, the Can You Relate series. I am your host, Kenny Rogers.
Come on, man. Sit the fuck down.
In the Word Up segment of the show, we introduce a new word, or a word hardly used in everyday speech. Word up. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance refers to situations involving conflicting attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors. This produces a feeling of mental discomfort, leading to an alteration in one of the attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors to reduce the discomfort and restore balance. All men are worthless. Even your dad? What about my dad? He's a man. Well, no, not all men. Every man except the ones we call dad. Oh, like your brother Brian. What did I do? Oh, never mind, Karen. I'm just saying. Don't forget to order your copy of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Workbook to help you navigate your work environment. The link is in the bio. I believe imagination is the most powerful human ability we have. I believe it's even more powerful than belief, choice, and even faith. Yet, one without the other is almost irrelevant. Look at all there is that we know of, like time, space, matter, and mankind. Our curiosity causes us to explore what we see and seek understanding of what we don't know. All that we have achieved and will achieve is because of imagination. The only limits to imagination are things we cannot prove. Imagination's powerful companions, belief, choice, and faith, has supported the journey of our capabilities all the way from what we imagined to the evidence of what we can see, to what we cannot yet prove, and what we don't know yet. This is where human relations become unstable and logic is debatable. For instance, the number one question of all that exists is, how did we get here? We obviously know we exist. We know we are on planet Earth. We know there is a universe filled with stars, planets, and galaxies. We even understand visible matter so well that we know once upon a time, everything we can see did not exist. And here is the impenetrable barrier. What was before what is? How did all we can prove begin? How did we get here? Alas, the unraveling of human relations, and the instability of rationale. Now, the driving force of imagination is belief, faith, and choice. Was it the Big Bang that blew all that is into perfect position from nothing at all? Or is there actually an infinite intelligence that created our observable experiences? If an idea beyond what we can prove is logical or illogical, it still came from imagination. If you can't prove your logic, you still chose to believe in something you cannot prove. By choosing to believe, you subconsciously employ faith in what you chose to believe is true. Imagination, choice, belief, faith. I personally believe all that we can observe was birthed from imagination, from the mind of infinite intelligence. Yet, in my world of imagination, I do not believe in fruitless debates about things I believe, yet cannot prove. Worlds within worlds, such as the world of science, the world of religion, and the world of consciousness, to name a few. Most of us have heard true statements like, thoughts become things, and see it, believe it, achieve it, and many other positive expressions of imagination. But like win and lose, success and failure, sight and blindness, there are positive and negatives in a person's world of imagination. Positive. The Wright brothers imagined they could modify someone else's proof of imagination, like Carl Benz's automobile, combining a land vehicle with the aerodynamics from the wingspan of a bird to create an aircraft with people on the inside of it. Negative. Julius Robert Oppenheimer's atomic bomb. Here is the negative in his own words. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Metaphorically, there are tiny atomic bombs going off in the imagination of mankind all the time. Some people see imagination as a gift and a curse. Well, I won't argue with that opinion. Positive imagination takes an extraordinary amount of belief and faith, because what we are usually surrounded by is evidence of how impossible it seems to achieve what we imagined. But for people who mainly function from a negative headspace, their imagination still comes from belief and faith. Yet, for this type of dysfunctional thinking, what is imagined doesn't seem like imagination at all. Their undistinguished thoughts are real from the start, regardless of evidence, regardless of the truth. Positive or negative, the set rule of our mind's imagination must yield results in this dimension we live in. Believe it or not, negative imaginations in toxic relationships with friends, family, or lover, to coworkers and even strangers on the internet, can manifest real results. I was in a work environment that happened to be going through a transitional phase. A member of middle management moved to a higher rank, from assistant project administrator to primary project administrator on a different project. The void of APA on the current project was filled by the lead inspector, leaving the lead inspector's role up for grabs. I grabbed it. Side note, If you have an opportunity to lead, take it. But just hope the opportunity is in an entirely different department or new location with new people. My opportunity came on the same project with the same toxic team. Oh well, here we go. There are far too many important facts I could share about this experience that you probably can relate to, but I will keep it in line with the topic of imagination. When I joined the team, I immediately felt the thickness of jealousy. But when I was given the opportunity to lead, envy joined jealousy. Envy and jealousy is a highly concentrated cocktail. If you drink it, you become intoxicated with hate and severe hallucinations. Hallucination, an experience involving the apparent perception of something not present, which is the same as imagination. Scheduling crew coverage and weekend work was one of my new responsibilities. The previous scheduling system they had was no one knew who was covering what, leaving some crews without proper inspection and tracking. And scheduling guys for weekend work was as rough and tumble as asking on Friday afternoon who's going to work Saturday. The system wasn't organized or remotely fair, and of course, everyone complained. I fixed all of that. I created a balanced coverage chart that showed in detail who was covering what at a glance. As for weekend work, I created a rotation calendar for the entire year. And if you couldn't or didn't want to work a particular weekend, just negotiate a trade with someone else. Sounds good, right? Well, not in their eyes. Everything I did, everything I said was a terrible idea. Yeah, this was literally said to my face. I was even told, no one knows if some of these crews are even being covered. You can't randomly put someone on weekend work. What if they can't work that weekend? Wait, are you being serious right now? This is only a small example of false positive imagination. I don't really care when people lie about me. But what's troubling is when people who knows it's a lie, they treat the lie as if it's truth. I've always said you cannot lead or make proper adjustments when you think exactly like the people you are supposed to lead. Move up and move on, but take your brain with you. So, the cocktail of envy and jealousy, sprinkled with naivety, tastes like hate. When enough people drink from that cup, it creates a cancel culture. And I was surrounded by it. From junior inspectors that were influenced by shallow thinking senior inspectors to upper management who knew the people who spoke the loudest were morons. I was stuck in the middle with absolutely no support. Whoa. In a superficial way, this kind of sounds like the story of Jesus. The Pharisees hated Jesus because of envy and jealousy. The community was influenced by the Pharisees. And the king, Pontius Pilate, sided with the people, although he knew they were a misled, naive, cunning bunch. All the while, Jesus was actually making things better. But crucify him! I am definitely not saying I am Jesus, but metaphorically, that's exactly what happened to me. cancel culture strikes and wins again. The lead inspector position vanished, reducing me to senior inspector without a voice to help make things I can actually relate to better. Basically, back to the convoluted hierarchy as usual. Coming to a point of truly understanding something doesn't always bring you peace. In fact, when you grow wiser, perception becomes even more troublesome because now you see things as they really are. Through all the chaos, I realized something that can be easily overlooked. All of the ridiculous lies was an obvious effort of deception. But when I started to understand what I was experiencing, I realized these deceitful idiots actually thought their imagination of me was true, causing them to see things that wasn't there. They actually thought they were doing a good thing by disrupting my opportunity. Their naive imagination manifested their desire. How do you fight against that? Just like Jesus, you don't. Although in the story of Jesus, he made a difference. My story, they canceled my opportunity to make a difference. But I was already making top dollar for my position, so earning good money with a whole lot less responsibility and emotional turmoil. Yeah, I can deal with that. Sometimes winning looks like losing, and losing looks like winning. They got what they wanted, and what they wanted made their reality miserable. The same old cancel crew complained about the changes they manipulated the system to get. These morons even complained to me. As I listened, I was able to see in their eyes the moment they realized who they were talking to and that they had the wrong imagination of me all along. Indirectly, they all, and I mean all of them, accidentally validated me when they admitted the hierarchy is worse than ever now. Indirectly, accidentally, with prevailing cognitive dissonance to restore their imagination, of course. I'm out of time, but here is a clip of what to expect in the next episode of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast. You reap what you sow was actually clipped from a Bible verse. I'm not trying to have Bible study here, but I believe it's important to find the history on words and sayings to understand its true intent. The origination of the saying comes from the book of Galatians. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Don't forget to order your copy of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Workbook to help you navigate your work environment. The link is in the bio. It's easier to keep up with new episodes when you click the follow button and turn on notifications. Remember, my fellow navigators, circumstances don't change. You do. See you next time.